It is such a nice day today. I thought I'd do today's recording out in the sunshine. Anyway, hello, welcome back to My Life's Toil. I'm Neil, I'm 52-year-old male, obviously I hope, from Solihull in the UK. And for those who haven't joined me before, I am currently documenting my experience with using Mounjaro weight loss injections, of which I'm on the start of week 7 moving forward. Currently on 5 mg doses, of which today's dose 3, following previous 4 weeks of 2.5 mg doses. Again, I want to thank the people who are supporting me along the way, and also welcome if you are just joining us. We have a fantastic community of people on here who are taking the medication or looking into the use of it, weight loss medication injections, or just intrigued around the subject. We have some good advice and guidance from people who've been using these medications actually for years in some cases, and also some good advice from people who are just starting out on their journeys too. I will be discussing how my week has been since my last injection, but I will do my weight update at the end. And again, I'll be showing my injection a little bit later on. But firstly today, I wanted to just mention and share some information I've found around injection sites, as this is still quite a bit of a hot topic. Now, a lot of people have reported having varying level of progress and results dependent on where they actually inject their Mounjaro. Ultimately, the manufacturer, Eli Lilly, advises that the site doesn't matter, and that either the upper thigh, the abdomen, or the fatty area at the back of the upper arm is good for injecting. That's where they recommend, and that there shouldn't be any difference between the sites. However, there has been some interesting information from varying sources found on the web, such as medicinesbd.net, and also I've read an article from Medical News Today, which was reviewed by Dr. George Marino, written by Jill Celardi-Schulman, who's a PhD. This was from May 24, regarding absorption rates in different areas around the body. And I'll put links into these documents in the video details. It's not my information. I'm not the author of any of it, but I'm just relaying it over to you. And as always, if you're thinking about weight loss injections, always seek appropriate guidance from a medical professional that knows you. Now, as we know, there are 3 potential injection sites for Mounjaro, according to manufacturers Eli Lilly. These are the abdomen, thigh, and the fatty bit of the upper arm. Each of these sites basically has a layer of fat, subcutaneous fat under the skin. It's the lowest level of the skin, and it's important for ensuring that Mounjaro absorbs properly into your blood to make sure that we just go with these sites. Now, guidance actually states there's not one single best site for injecting it, the Mounjaro. Personal preference can play a big role in site selection also. The following factors can be important when deciding what's best for you, such as ease of access. For example, injecting into the upper arm, it's suggested that someone else should really do that, although some people do it themselves. Pain may play a part, where you're comfortable with doing it, and obviously we're told to rotate the sites as well. But in a nutshell, the research does suggest that absorption is found to be faster in the abdomen, followed by the thigh and then the upper arm. The abdomen is said to be less painful too. And the reasons for this, the absorption, are down to the amount of blood and lymph vessels in those areas, and of course, which the abdomen does have more. According to Eli Lilly's information on the absorption, following subcutaneous administration, the time to maximum plasma concentration of tirzepatide, the main ingredient, ranges actually between 8 and 72 hours, which basically was achieved with subcutaneous administration of the medication in the abdomen, thigh, or upper arm. Their notes. It might have been interesting though if Eli Lilly had included the information as to why the absorption times varied that much. Now, we are all different, obviously, and it might just not be down to the sites, but the research indicates that it is more down to those sites being different. Also wanted to reiterate on the guidance that the half-life of the drug in the system is 5 days, which is why it is a once weekly administered injection. So I just wanted to mention that really, because obviously people are getting different results, different sensations, different feelings, working differently for people that may go in the arm, go in the leg, not getting the same benefits as what some people do that have the injections into the tummy. And I hope that was of some use to those who are not quite sure where to inject, or if you're not quite getting the sensations, effects you were hoping to. And it's just something to think about. Obviously, if you are getting the results you want and it's working well for you with no nasty side effects, which I'll put on the screen here, just carry on with it as it's working for you. So that's absolutely perfect. But if you are using the arm and it doesn't seem as potent, or you don't think that you're getting results you could consider a change of site. It'd be interesting to know how you get on. It's important to add that not everyone will have the same effects anyway, good or bad, from the Mounjaro. And this is because some people are fortunate to not have the nasty side effects, but then there are those unfortunate that don't quite get the full benefits of it too, such as the suppression of the cravings, which I'm hearing a lot on the comments about, unfortunately. It could be that they need to wait until they go up higher dose, but just be careful, as I say, about the side effects, because it is important to remember that we are all different. Medications may work differently on some people compared to others. This can be down to other conditions, medical conditions, medications, medical history, and just purely down to genetics. In fact, I'd be interested to know how many people varied the sites and how they get on, what differences they've noticed, if they notice the sensation changes more. As people that have been following me for a little while will know, I've only injected into the tummy. I find it really straightforward, it's pain-free, and I'm happy with the results so far. If you're starting the medication, I've done a few of mine on previous videos. I'll begin doing the jab in a few moments, as you'll see. Find it helps to show how straightforward it can be. Hopefully can take away some of the worry about self-injecting. It is really quite straightforward. For the regulars out there, I apologise again, like I did last week, but feel free to watch. You've been doing it for a while as well, but for the new people coming along, great to have you. We'll show you how that goes now, and we'll do a weight update in a bit as well. So back in the kitchen where I'm going to do the injection, and as usual, these are the things that you will need, such as obviously your Mounjaro quick pen, sharp spin, the needles and the wipes, and you can use some hand rub. Just make sure, as you've just seen, your hands are clean and they're washed. So make sure that when you look at the quick pen that it's yours. We're going to check it for damage anyway. And by wipes, I mean these wipes. And I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. These are not necessarily for cleaning the skin. It's not a bad thing to clean the skin if you want to, just make sure you're not grubby. But these are to actually clean the seal of the pen themselves, and we'll do that in a moment. And these are the needles that we use. New needle every time, obviously, so we don't have any infection risk. So for those people that haven't injected themselves, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's good to be a little bit nervous because it keeps you on your toes. Don't be so nervous that you're just worried and you're shaking and it's going to cause issues with actually doing the injection. If someone's happy to do it for you, great, especially on the fatty bit of the arm. Really should be getting someone else to do that. But these are designed to be self-injected into the tummy or the upper thigh, and I'll be doing the tummy. And glasses on because we've got some reading to do. Again, I kept the pen in the fridge, and just to repeat myself, sorry for those again that watch regularly, make sure it's yours. We're going to inspect the pen. We store this, it's guidelines 30 days from opening. Otherwise, if it's unopened and kept in the fridge, not frozen, if there's any hint that it's been frozen, it's useless, throw it away. The guidance is don't use it at all. But up to 30 degrees C outside of the fridge once opened. Try and keep it in the fridge if you're not going to use it. But other than that, you go by the use by date, and I've got up until February of next year, but obviously 30 days in with that now. So If you have a look at the pen, you can see that I've used a couple of doses out of it. I've got 2 left. Inspecting the chamber, make sure that there's no issues with it, and then we can get to priming, which we'll do now. So when we look at priming, we are going to use that wipe that we had, open that up, alcohol wipe, and in here there's a seal, a rubber seal. I think it's that red bit there. My glasses aren't as good as they used to be. And that's what we're literally aiming to clean. Just don't get it saturated, no need for that. Been mound up for cleaning the pen again, but I don't see any problem with it. As a paramedic, we clean everything basically. Ready for the needle to do the priming, so make sure the needle's fine. Let me read out what it says on the needle again. It's a microfine ultra 0.23 by 4mm needle. It's like the thickness of a hair, and it's literally less than half a centimetre, 0.4 of a centimetre. Take that bit off, disregard that in the household waste. And then this, nice and squarely. I'm aware that some people have had issues with leakages. So my guidance would be to turn that on. You'll feel the squeak of the seal. Doesn't need to be overly tight at all. So making sure that it's nice, not too tight, but enough to make a good seal. So we've got a nice purchase on that. And then this top cap comes off here. We keep that for when we dispose of it, so don't throw that away just yet. And then there's an extra guard there as well. We pull that off. We can throw that away in the normal bin. And then we're looking into the chamber, making sure there's no debris. If there's any air, we can just give that a little tap to get them up to the top. And then this bit here, as we've done many times before, we click that onto, see the long mark there? That's what we click it to when we're going to prime. You just get that little bit of a gap. And then if there is any air, we make sure it's up the top there, and we give that a squirt, and that's definitely primed. We know the needle's not blocked. We know that it's all patent and working. And if there was any air there, that's now gone. Then we look at getting it ready for the jab. So we're looking at 1 dose. So this is going to be 1 dose of 5mg Mounjaro. And this literally turns out until we're on that number 1 there. And that's, as I say, 1 dose. I've heard all sorts where people have had bent needles when they've withdrawn and it's like scratched them and cut them. And I don't know why. The safest way, I'm going to show you now the safest way to put this needle in. It should be so easy. I don't want people to be worried. Be cautious, but not so cautious that it affects how you administer this medication. That should be really straightforward. Let's get on with it and let's show you how straightforward it is and how I do it, and I don't have any problems. So last week I went in my right side, always 2 inches away from the belly button. Change the sights, there's plenty to work with. You can stick solely to your abdomen like I do. You don't have to change sights all the time. You can rotate around the tummy. Just always remember where you've been before. Any sign of any problems, any bruising, any irritation of the skin, erythema or redness, any swelling, any discomfort whatsoever that's stopping you from injecting in a particular area, choose somewhere else. This time I'm going here, so let me show you how nice and simple this really should be, and we'll show this as close as we can. So nice and square on, nice and straight into the skin. I always pinch a little bit, straight in, look, it's in. And then if you watch the plunger as I'm pushing that in, you do have to give it a little bit of pressure. You should see that turning around. Now, I've heard people say that you wait up to 10 seconds. Just give it a few moments, maybe 5 seconds, and withdraw. Square again, always square. Check the site. There's a tiny drop. That's nothing. You may have a tiny drop and there's nothing on there. And then after this is done, think sharp safety. We don't want any injuries, although that's not going to cause any great problem. But we think about health and safety. We think about infection risk. That goes back on there. We unscrew that, and that comes off nice and easy. This then goes in your sharps bin. Cap then goes on your pen. You then store that for next week and hopefully enjoy the benefits of not wanting to pick all week. So hopefully that's giving you the confidence to get on with it. If you've watched this before, thank you for staying with me. This is going back in the fridge for me. I didn't keep it in the fridge at the start, but as we hit towards the summer, I just thought it'd be a good idea to do that. Keep the needle somewhere safe away from kids. Teaching it to suck eggs now. For those of us that have got kids, my kids are 26 and 28, so I don't think they're going to be playing with it, but who knows. That's going back in the fridge. I'll see you for the weight. Right, before we get onto the weighing, I just want to touch upon how my last week has been on the 5 milligrams. A better week. Still find that the food cravings get a little bit stronger as we get towards the end of the week. Like last night, I found myself looking through the fridge, through the cupboards, and it wasn't because I was hungry. It was just boredom and felt like, when you just go in the kitchen, it's like when you were kids again, like you just go in the cupboard and eat for the sake of it. And that's what it was a bit like last night. Managed to stay on the plan. Lots of proteins, lots of fluids. Look at the past videos to see the sort of things I've had. I'm going to do more food, more meal videos. I'll probably put them in shorts because they don't need to be too long, just as an idea. I'm going to do a little bit of blood pressure one as well because I need to keep on top of that. And I'm doing blood pressures with my job for other people all day, every day during the week. So, yeah, it's been a good week. I feel positive. No nausea. That's a lie. Mild nausea. Used to get it first thing in the morning. Nothing like that first week when I went on to the 5s. Little bit of constipation, but I am taking magnesium for that and some probiotics as well. But yeah, so we'll talk more about this on Saturday. So we'll get on to the weight now. I'm just going to do the weigh-in. Right, so weighing done. I've just done it. I wanted to show you doing it, but the mechanics of it didn't work out and it would have been boring. So I can tell you, today's weigh-in, so this is the start of week 7 for me. This will be my third 5 milligram jab that you've just seen. Today's weight is 119.3 kilos, which is 263 pounds. That is 18 stone, 11 pounds, which I'm really pleased with, obviously. Total weight loss to date is 16.3 kilograms, 36 pounds, 2 stone, 8 pounds thereabouts. And I'm really, really happy, as I should be. And people, as I've said earlier in this video, we are all different and our bodies do things at different times. We react differently to medications. We eat different amounts. We need different calories, all sorts. And I've been getting a lot of people saying, I've only lost such and such. I've only lost. But you know what? It's all losses. And I'm delighted to see that people are losing. There's been a couple of people where they struggled with the Mounjaro. It's not quite working for them. And there's lots of factors at play again, like I've touched upon with what I mentioned earlier today with how the medication works. And sometimes the sites, maybe try a different site if you're not injecting into the tummy. That might not be the cure all, unfortunately. It may be that just sometimes medications aren't suitable for everybody, which is heartbreaking because when it works well for you, it's a great medication, and as long as you're keeping an eye on, put it up again, the side effects, the nasty side effects, and be aware of what your body's telling you. I've said it before and I'll say it again, listen to what your body's telling you. If the medication's not working for you, I'd speak to your provider and have a chat with them, see what's going on. It may be that you need to go up the doses, but I wouldn't rush through the doses. Like we've said before, if the doses work for you, stay on them. It may be worth seeking professional dietitian advice or GP, doctor, physician advice if there's underlying reasons as to why you might not be losing weight. There's many factors around this. First ones come to mind if you do have underlying medical conditions, lymphedema problems, collating more water than you should, menopausal symptoms. There's many reasons as to why this might be the case, especially with hormonal changes and things like that. That said, I want to be really positive as I can with these videos, and the idea of these videos is really to support you and to make you realize, yes, we have to be really cautious about what we do with these medications. Don't get complacent, don't get overconfident, always listen to our bodies. But at the same time, if it's working, it's brilliant. It really is. It's done me the world of good. I feel better. I feel like I'm helping people, being able to show you how my journey is going. And it's brilliant to hear that coming back. I've had some great advice. I'm going to do Q&As again. It's Saturday again this week. It's not Sunday. I'm not working. I'm away for the day. I'm going to a football match, big football cup final. I'm a Blues fan for Birmingham City. You've probably seen it on the top. So I won't be doing Sunday. It's back to Saturday. So if you want to come and join me, join in. If you want to get some questions in, get some in. I've already had some great questions. We'll pick out, as long as it doesn't get boring for you, let me know, because I don't want to bore anybody, but I do want to be informative and useful for you. If you've got any more tips, I've been receiving some fantastic tips. We've got such great like-minded people on here, and everyone is brilliant. I love it. Honestly, it's been so great to be involved with everyone. Again, I hope I've got through all the comments. If I haven't, give me a nudge. If it's something quite pressing, I always keep an eye on it. Sometimes wake up in the night and have a quick look at my phone. It's terrible, and I'll respond to people. People around the world must be thinking, when does this guy sleep? Not very often, actually, but that's another issue. So I think that'll do it for this week. We'll do the measurements on Saturday again this week. We'll do a Q&As again. So if you've got any pressing comments, answers, if you've got any ideas, advice, top tips, tricks, and things like that that's helping you, that might help anyone else, put them on the comments. We'll use them. I've already started collating a list of them for this week. And let's leave it at that. Have a brilliant rest of the week. Keep an eye on things, and I'll speak to you on Saturday if you can join me. Press the subscribe if you want to come along. Great to see you all. See you soon.